Hi, this is John Patrick Hickey, and I want to welcome you back to another in our series on civility. Now, we've talked about the importance of good manners, but let me give you a little hint of where treating people kindly and having respect can really get its beginning, and that's within your own attitude. People who have a positive, uplifting attitude have the tendency to be kinder, more respectful, more mannerly, more gracious than people who are negative and who see everything as being wrong. Now, you might think, okay, the positive attitude stuff thing again, and what does my attitude have to do with how I treat people or manners? Look at people. Spend some time looking at people. Now, I love to people watch. I like paying attention to how people behave, paying attention to how not only they communicate with me, but I watch them communicate with each other. I watch people in restaurants and any place that I go. I'm always trying to just watch people. I think that humans are very fascinating, and you can pick up a lot by just watching someone. And you'll find people who tend to be positive. Now remember, a positive attitude is not wearing rose-colored glasses and saying, oh, everything is wonderful. People with a good positive attitude, to me, are more realistic than people who don't. Because people who have a good attitude recognize difficulty, they recognize the obstacles in life, the hardships that people have in life. The thing is that they understand there is an answer to those problems, and that they can find that answer and overcome. That keeps you in a more positive state. You know that you can do things, you have confidence. It's a person who has the ability to see beyond difficulties and understand that there are much better things that are ahead. A negative person isn't realistic. A negative person will tell you that everything is rotten. That, the whole world's falling apart. Well, we know the whole world isn't falling apart. And, even now, when we talked in the very first video about the fact that we live in a time where civility is at a crisis point, we see people actually becoming violent in their opposition to each other and a complete lack of communicating or spending time to be kind and understanding with each other. And, someone with a negative attitude can look at all of this and think, this is the worst that civilization has ever been. No time in American history has it been worse. Well, you know what? It's been worse. It's been a lot worse than it is now. Doesn't mean it's not bad. Just means that it has been worse. We can't look at how things are happening now. It is true that every single generation thinks their generation is the worst thing's ever been. And in 15 years, we'll do a mini-series on it and call it the good old days. And we'll have fond memories of everything when we were young or that happened within our generation. That, it's all in this perspective of how you look at things. Og Mandino was a publisher, author, and Og Mandino spent the first part of his life being an extremely negative person. He was an alcoholic, he lost his family, he lost his business, he lived on the streets, and he got a hold of his life and decided that if he was going to live, he might as well do something that was worthwhile. And so that's what he pursued. His idea was, if I can serve people better, then I'm going to feel better. And he found that to be true. He once wrote, I seek continually to improve my manners and graces, for they are the sugar which attract things. And that's true. We mentioned before that people who are pleasant, people who have a good outlook on life are people who you're attracted to, who businesses are attracted to. No one wants to spend their time with some gloomy Gus who's going to go around feeling depressed and unhappy all the time. And you'll find that people who have really strong political beliefs, for instance. And I don't care if it's on the right or the left, whatever. If they have these really strong beliefs to the point that they cannot deal with people who disagree with them. They're going to be nasty, they're going to call them names, they're going to accuse them of all kinds of stuff. I mean, we see this in the political world all the time. These are people who have a negative attitude. These are people who think that everything is terrible. Well, you get people who have a more positive attitude, that they're going to be able to look at people they may disagree with, but understand they have the right to believe what they want to believe, and then they have a reason for the things they believe so they can combat the negative issues that people have with trying to help them understand that things can get better. There is a place where we can all improve, we can all grow. Just as civility itself, good manners is a choice, a positive attitude is a choice. We decide how we're going to feel. We decide how we're going to look at the world and what we're going to see. Are you going to look at everything as being miserable, or are you going to look at things from a more positive perspective? You know, there is an author and educator by the name of Fromm, who wrote a book on civility, is what it's called. And in there he mentions that although life entails hardships and sufferings, we can do something about it. We can always do something about it. See, that's the attitude of a positive person. You know that you can always do something about it. You may not know what, you may not know how. Those are just details, but you know you can always do something about it. You can always make things better. Until the next time that we get together, this is John Patrick Hickey, and I do want to encourage you to be your best. Love God, have good manners, discover the unknown, and change your world.
You've been listening to Growth Through Lifelong Learning, a training series hosted by author, speaker, and personal development coach John Patrick Hickey. This series has been designed to help you achieve your life goals and be all you were created to be. If you're interested in information about other programs that Jack has produced or where to get copies of this video, please visit johnpatrickhickey.com. We hope that you'll find all the resources you need and that you'll join us as we continue to grow through lifelong learning.